Travolting presents The Fraser's Edge. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering Encino Man. With special guest, Matt Ball.
All right, we're recording.
Rolling and clap sync 3, 2.
All right.
Did that come across?
Yeah, that came across in my speaker too. So just
Okay, cool.
All right. So now we have two clap syncs on both ends, just in case. All
Sounds good.
Very cool.
All right, we're rolling. So
We're rolling.
we're in it.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah! Folks, we have just demonstrated all of Brendan Fraser's dialogue in the motion picture Encino Man.
Hey, that is not true. He has a lot of dialogue.
He says a lot of
Gonzagas.
he says a lot of smart stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a good movie.
I agree. What a great movie.
Yeah.
Stuart just like, yeah.
We're just like starting in hot. Sorry, Stuart.
No, it's all good.
So I just want to start off right away and let you both know, if you didn't know already, this movie is not entitled Encino Man worldwide. It is only entitled Encino Man in the country of the United States of America. Outside of the United States of America, it is titled California Man, presuming that people in France would not know what the fucking Encino is.
That's you know what? That's understandable. I understand that.
So they don't understand that part, but they can understand and follow that right below this dude's backyard property, there's an ice block of a man.
Hey,
It's the
look,
Encino
Stuart,
part that we need to alter so they can understand it better.
Yes.
Stuart, they gave proper explanation. The teacher explained what people who are incorrect, quote unquote, by him know about this.
That teacher.
They very clearly start with the teacher saying, "Hey, some people think that there's still glaciers underneath
Where we
underneath
live.
the surface,
Glaciers
where
that
we live."
move underground.
Actually, that is true. We do have underground lakes.
Well, yeah, we definitely have like underground things that occur. I just am doubting that there's specifically miniaturized glaciers
5
that
feet.
just like worm their way through the Earth's crust with earthquakes.
Carrying frozen men.
Yes, which is the plot of this movie for the audience.
Yeah. So thank you for coming to Travolting. We're covering Encino Man.
We're talking about Encino Man on this episode of The Fraser's Edge.
Jeff, do you have any context?
I have a lot of context.
You do have a lot of context.
do have a lot.
Thank you for listening to Guilty Until Proven Innocent, or Presumed Guilty.
Whatever you want it to be.
Whichever title that you wanted to call it, which, Matt, good movie. Well, I shouldn't say good movie, but good performance.
It was fine.
Fine movie, good performance, and a strange transition for Fraser.
Yes.
This is a weird one.
Yeah, so he started off with being a background extra in Child of Darkness, Child of Light, goes right into Dogfight where he has a single line,
Yeah.
pops up in a TV movie where he's like a lead character, it's a natural progression.
It was very familiar, as we talked about in the last episode, with the greatest actor to ever lived.
Yeah, it's the
John Travolta.
And so it makes sense, like, he paid his dues with those first few movies.
Which, to pause, I have to then argue, Matt, why are you then talking to us about this movie and not Dogfight, which would be the equivalent of Carrie for Brendan Fraser?
Because I had seen Encino Man as a child.
I want to say Matt started off Travolting as our first guest in our initial iteration, and he's once again joining us for the first guest of The Fraser's Edge. So
Whenever, that'll just be the trend. Whatever the next one you pick is, I'll have to do the first one.
I mean, how into the movies of Tom Cruise are you?
What's his first leading role in
Risky
for
Business?
Tom Cruise? I'll watch that. Fuck it. I'll put my name in there now.
I'm putting you on Legend. We still have 2 years before we make this decision.
Yeah.
A year and a half at least before we make this decision. Stuart,
Stuart,
is
do you regret this yet?
Well, I'm just like, are we trying to dig ourselves in the Scientology hole, Jeff? That's my question.
Well, no, because we have Fraser. Anyway, we're not talking about it right
Where
now.
it's a Scientology sandwich.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we're doing
That's
here.
what I want it to be.
What?
So no, Encino Man, a motion picture. It's directed by Les Mayfield. This is his first movie. He graduated from USC. He worked on a lot of documentaries. But this is his first movie shortly after he graduates college from the USC School of Film. He'll later go on to do movies like Miracle on 34th Street and Flubber. So Stuart's like losing his shit in the corner of the room right now, thinking about Flubber. Stuart's literally injecting Flubber into his bloodstream right now. Like the substance from the movie. I don't even know how he obtained it.
Ejaculating Flubber.
Well,
It's a sentient blob, Jeff.
okay.
Starring Robin Williams.
Starring Robin Williams.
It is
yes.
finest picture.
Yes. But this is a Buena Vista motion picture. Which is
Great.
Disney.
Great.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Buena Vista?
I mean, like Buena Vista, like productions. I'm
yeah.
familiar with Buena Vista, the street, which is like 2 blocks from me.
Oh. That's right.
Matt lives in California. For
He
folks
does.
Who don't know.
Matt, how far from Encino do you live?
I'm Googling it right now.
Do you have a mobile rig? Because can we put you in a car? Can you drive to Encino while we record
Let
this
us know if
podcast?
you see any glaciers.
Yeah, if you see any cavemen running around, let us know.
Right.
Wait, is this accurate? Wait.
It's very close to you, isn't it?
Encino is like the next town over, or the next like neighborhood over from me.
Matt, you should be a little nervous right now.
Oh God, you're gonna send me out via field reporter.
So you feel reporting for live Encino. We would call it Man in Encino.
Yes.
But no, this movie kind of comes to fruition. So the script had been written. It was just kind of kicking around. It's written by George Zaloom and Sean Ships, who don't have Wikipedia pages, which implies to me that they did not write anything else. But they wrote this movie, and Disney saw an opportunity. They saw an opportunity in the early 90s because there was an MTV show that they were like, this guy who hosts this MTV show, he's really popping off. I think we should make this kid a movie star.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about Pauly Shore, folks.
Pauly Shore.
We're talking about Pauly Shore.
I thought that dude was dead.
What a great fucking performance by him. God damn.
So Pauly Shore, because we got to talk about Pauly Shore context before we can talk about Brendan Fraser context. In this
Are we going
movie.
to talk about Sean Astin context?
No, Sean Astin. He does.
They paid him the most.
He does teen comedies in the 90s, 3 Lord of the Rings movies, and then does adult comedies in the 2000s. Ceases to exist, pops up in Stranger Things, and then once again disappears.
I mean, he apparently only took this role because he wanted money to fund a short film he wanted to direct.
Which, you gotta respect the hustle.
Yeah.
You gotta respect it. But Sean Astin is not what gets this movie, pushed into creation. It's Pauly Shore, everyone's favorite VJ on MTV. He hosted his MTV show, and he was a stand-up comic, and then one day, they're like, we're going to make this kid a star. We're going to put him in the pictures. We're going to put him in this movie Encino Man.
And his career has been popping off ever since.
And so they offered Pauly Shore this movie, and they said, we would like you to play Link. And Pauly Shore says, no. Because since he can't talk, he loses my sense of humor and my unique Pauly speak.
Interesting.
I mean, this movie would not be what it is without the Pauly speak.
Without the Pauly speak. Which is defined as the way Pauly would pause between syllables of key adjectives.
It's like, yeah, dude. It's very groovy.
And you gotta respect that
more like it's very groovy.
It's, hey, bud D. You gotta respect that Pauly Shore doesn't, rather than just being yeah, I talk funny, that's my thing. Yeah. He's like, no, I pause between specific syllables of specific adjectives, not just words, adjectives.
Yeah.
And so they
Gotta respect it.
he says he would like to play one of the teenagers.
Yeah.
But, Shore or Pauly Shore, like, being in the movie is still what they were looking for. So, like, all right, if he can play one of the teenagers, we'll still make this movie. But we have to find a link, and we have to find the other kid. For the other kid to go to a somewhat bankable star, Sean Astin,
Yeah.
who, like you said, did not want to do this movie. He said the words specifically, this is maybe the worst script I've ever read. The biggest piece of shit I've ever read. But he wanted to make his short film, so he agreed to do the movie.
He got paid, like, how much money? Like
$250,000, which in today's standards is not a lot, but for then it was good for teen, like he was a young adult actor.
Yeah.
They gave him the money to make his short film and agreeing to doing this on the idea that Sean Astin, people love him from the Goonies and Rudy. He'll be great in this.
Yeah.
And he's in it.
He's there.
But when it comes to Link, they were looking around a little bit, and they were just kind of, I'm trying to find. Okay, here we are. They were trying to find a replacement for Pauly Shore for the role, so they need someone with that similar, well, not that similar energy, but someone with a goofy energy who could also act. So they were looking around, and eventually they do find Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Coming off of, he had prior to this movie actually filmed his next motion picture, School Ties.
Yeah. Wait, it hadn't been released yet.
Yeah, I believe School Ties is released after this, but it had been filmed before. And School Ties is a serious performance.
Yeah.
And after, doing innocent or guilty until proven innocent and School Ties, he saw himself as a serious actor.
A thespian, you might say.
Yes, thespian. And he was worried that doing this movie would have him redirected as a comedy star, as a goofball, which
that could
kind
never
of is
happen.
what happens.
Yeah.
But, they really pushed for him because they liked what he was doing. And he also just kind of has the look and the build for this character.
Brendan Fraser is 6'3".
I saw a Letterboxd review for Brendan Fraser movie where it said Brendan Fraser is not a snack. He's the main course. Because let's talk of he's got the body.
He's got the body.
He's got the goods.
He's got the eyes, man.
He's got the eyes.
His eyes are, oh my God.
Yes. But they finally convince him to do it, and they have their three main stars, and they go into production on this movie. Encino Man.
Yeah.
Was it filmed in Encino? It had to have been, right?
There's no way it wasn't.
This had to have been filmed in actual Encino, because that would just be really disappointing if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna look if it was, and just not let myself be disappointed if it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we can. Before we jump in, Matt, I have to ask, what is your history with Encino Man? What drew you to this movie?
So I mean, it's parodied often, the whole thing. There's the South Park parodies this movie, and I instinctively saw Encino Man and remembered that, but also I watched it as a kid, so I was like, I've seen this movie before, so I can at least talk about it a little bit. And then watching it again, it's great.
I had a really fun time watching this movie this morning. I watched it with Becca, okay. So
what are you gonna say, Jeff? What are you gonna say?
I love Becca dearly.
She's in the next room.
She revealed to me this morning she had a secret Pauly Shore phase.
No.
Little Pauly Shore action.
Wait a minute, Becca.
I did not have a Pauly Shore.
Oh, she's coming. Okay, she had a Pauly Shore phase.
I just think he's funny.
That's a Pauly Shore phase if ever I heard one, folks. You can chalk that up.
I feel so in the middle of a.
It's nice to know that she listens.
Yeah. We're in the next room.
But yeah,
let's get Becca in this as well. Let's
get her
set up the third mic.
As we pause right now, we could do it.
Stuart, you could do that in 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
You can do that without hitting stop recording, right?
I would have to stop the recording.
Nah, you could just plug it in.
Just plug it in.
I would have to stop the recording.
Okay. But
anyways.
I had a really fun time watching this movie this morning.
Yeah.
I know, and we'll talk about at the end, it got very poor reception when it came out.
Yeah.
It did develop a cult following. And I would consider myself part of that cult following now because Encino Man, call me an Encino fan. Because
yeah, I would say like it got me hooked in like the first act,
Mm.
and then it sort of
had me in the first half, not gonna lie.
had me in the first half, not gonna lie, and then when they started throwing in like the prom stuff, and then the cave woman, and I was like,
I
oh,
would say
God.
if there is a problem with this movie, is that it becomes too much of a generic teen comedy at the end.
Yeah,
Like, it almost is kind of circumstantial that he's a caveman, which is just a wild thing to say.
pretty much, yeah.
But I still enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Pretty much 3 dudes, 2 of them heavily on the spectrum, and that's it.
Yes.
That's pretty much what this movie is. It's
Well, at that point, let's just dive into it.
okay. So we start in an Arctic tundra.
It's very funny to just look at this.
Just interior cave Arctic tundra.
Yes,
10,000 BC.
10,000 BC. We see some cave people,
Played by Brendan Fraser.
some Homo sapiens,
No, they're Cro-Magnons.
Cro-Magnon.
Stuart, are you a fucking idiot? This is there's literally a part in this movie where a teacher he gives a lesson and writes the word Cro-Magnon on the board. And this fucking guy comes on this podcast and said, "Yes, Homo sapien." Like,
I should just take my headphones off right now and just leave the room. God forbid. I'm afraid to talk now,
that
Jeff.
fucking day player
You-
actor did not come in to give that lesson for you to besmirch his legacy.
Listen, this is a hostile environment now, and I do not feel safe.
He also he must have just been asleep during that scene because he did also at the beginning of the of this podcast miss the fact that they explained why there was ice underneath Sean Astin's backyard.
Because the same teacher was like, glaciers are moving around under us.
Listen, I would love to see anybody try to watch this movie and just be bold, folks, and skip that fucking scene, which just fills in all the gaps for you and makes it all make perfect sense.
It's like Hereditary, where there's that one.
How is this
No.
like Hereditary?
No,
How
where,
in the world?
where there's that
is
one,
this?
where there's that one scene where the teacher's giving a lecture and it explains the rest of the plot of the movie.
That's in a lot of movies, Jeff.
No, but that's why I'm saying it's like Hereditary, because there's that scene where he's like, yeah, and this
It's like Hereditary when the little girl's head gets chopped off. Like how?
well, Brendan Fraser, Link does lose his woman.
Yes,
He does lose his squag.
his
His
Gonzaga's.
what?
Squag. I don't know.
That's derogatory.
No, that's from the SpongeBob caveman episode.
Canceled.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, Arctic tundra, cave people.
Yes, cave people. They're going around like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then
Trying to make fire.
they're trying to make a fire, and then suddenly everything starts shaking.
The catalyst of the movie, I dare say, that this movie really is just about a lone caveman who couldn't make fire in time before him and his dearly beloved were frozen.
Yes.
And to the point in modern day, he still is struggling to make fire. That would have been a great, like,
I mean, he discovers that all of his trials and tribulations from 10,000 BC or whatever are non-existent in the present day,
yeah,
because you can just make fire with the flick of your fingers.
exactly.
It's magic. But no, there's a collapse in the cave, and a bunch of snow falls down and rocks. And then while the camera's still shaking, we do this cool like pull back zoom, and Sean Astin whips out of the bed. And he's like, "Earthquake!"
Oh my god.
In present day, and by present day I mean 1991.
Matt, do earthquakes happen that often and that horrific?
That was the thing that I thought was really funny. I've lived in California for 2 years now. No, 3, almost 3. When did I move here?
That's a
2
great
years.
question.
I've lived here for 2 years, and of that magnitude, I felt like maybe one earthquake like that. There are multiple in this fucking movie that takes place in what, like a couple months
a
at
2-week
most.
period.
Yeah. So no, not very often that we get those kinds of earthquakes out here.
Those kind of
you might feel
classics.
like a little tremble here and there, but nothing like that.
Yeah. So there's an earthquake. Sean Astin wakes out of bed. It's like,
Yeah.
gazoinks!
And then we're introduced to what is the other catalyst of this movie, that Sean Astin wants a pool.
Yes. Why does he want a pool, Jeff?
Because it cuts to him and he's out back and he's shoveling a big-ass hole. in
He's
the back.
Stanley Yelnetsing his backyard.
Yes. And might I just say,
Shout out to my Holes fans, 2003.
what is the shoveling method he's doing?
Uh,
Did you guys, like, he's at the bottom of the hole.
yes.
And he sticks the shovel.
He's made some good progress.
He's made great progress.
Yeah.
I just don't know how. Because, like, normally, like, you would, like, he has a wheelbarrow there, which is, the idea is, like, you put the dirt in there, and then you push that thing up and dump the dirt. Right?
Yeah.
He's, like, shoveling, and then he's, like, throwing it, like, 20 feet away from him over the rim, where inevitably half of it's going to fall back down into the hole.
Yeah.
This is a lot of wasted effort for minimum reward, Sean.
Jeff, have you have a lot of experience digging holes for pools?
I'm just aware that this is a bad form.
I do agree
As someone who has dug a hole for a pool, legitimately, Jeff is correct.
Yeah, this is a terrible shoveling
wait
method.
a minute.
Am I right?
Matt, you must explain.
My parents wanted a pool in their backyard. I was home from the summer from college, so they were like, that kid's free labor.
Here I thought it's like, for the love of your parents, you were like, I'll do it for you.
No, I was just there, and they were like, yes, free labor.
Ah, yes.
Go shovel.
Go. Do not come back inside until.
We have something wet.
Yes. We have something wet.
Sorry, why is that funny, guys? I demand to know why that was
So
funny.
his shoveling method sucks, which it's one of those things where it is kind of funny to watch movies where actors who clearly not had to do any of the like skill sets,
Physical
labors in the movie,
Yeah.
are forced to do it in the movie. Like Sean Astin, like he's told to shovel. Well, he's clearly never shoveled something of that size before, and so that's just how he does it. He's like, oh, well, this makes sense to me in this moment because he's never had to do it before.
All right, so picture this. We're on the set of Encino Man, and instead of... Who's the name of the director?
Les Mayfield.
Instead of Les Mayfield, it's Jeff Sweeney directing.
Yeah.
How do you tell Sean
I'd be like,
Astin?
Sean, use that fucking wheelbarrow.
The props department got it for you, man.
I'd be like, we put it there, buddy. Use it.
No, maybe the wheelbarrow was from the set deck apartment, so he can't touch it.
Ah.
Yeah, they had to buy another one for props.
Oh, my God.
But he's digging and he finds a bowl.
A bowl.
Yeah, very like an ancient bowl.
Yes.
He's impressed by this. He's like, this is fun.
Pauly Shore, just at the sound of the word bowl, pops out of nowhere like, bowl?
Bowl. And he's like,
Flicks his lighter, and it's like, what we smoking, bro?
Doesn't he throw the bowl at Pauly Shore?
Yeah.
Or he throws it and Pauly Shore catches. No,
The other way
Sean
around, Sean Astin catches it.
Sean Astin catches it.
In a catch that would make any fucking any NFL wide receiver put to shame.
He
Yeah.
does. I mean, he's Rudy, so he just launches and catches it.
Yeah.
He's Rudy.
He's Rudy.
Has anyone ever seen Rudy?
No.
I thought it was boring. Encino Man. So we're introduced to Pauly Shore playing Stony. What's his last name?
Stony McStuffface.
Stony Brown.
I'm gonna say Stony McStuffface.
Yeah,
I think it's more.
Stony.
Right.
Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
The great actor of the 90s.
Oscar Academy Award winning thespian
yes.
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore, who has a truly wild Wikipedia page.
Yeah. Well, his mom is the owner of a very popular comedy club.
Yeah, his parents founded the Comedy Store.
Yeah, in L.A.
And so you read his Wikipedia. It includes everyone else in school was filling out SAT applications, but I just passed mine back. I knew I wasn't going to college because I was going to go into comedy.
Oh, Pauly.
He developed an alter ego persona called the Weasel. The Weasel involves Shore speaking in a surfer parlance, heavily peppered with dude speak slang such as edge, melons, and grinding, as well as his catchphrase, "Hey, buddy." You'll notice that this movie is just Pauly Shore using all of his stand-up catchphrases,
Yes.
including the Weasel.
Also known as the film Man of the Year with Robin Williams, who's essentially playing a comedian doing a bunch of his stand-up bits.
Yes. But yeah, Shore is a very wild case. You know what his best reviewed movie is?
This one?
No, it's a mockumentary called Pauly Shore is Dead. That's his most well-reviewed movie.
Yeah.
It's a documentary about how no one likes him.
Well, it's honest.
All right. So, Stuart, I have a reveal.
What's the reveal?
So, Pauly Shore
Yes.
is in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in a few more of the Brendan Fraser movies that we're covering.
Oh, God.
Matt, you're aware this is... We have to cover, I think, 3 to 4 Pauly Shore movies.
I'm not aware.
Yeah, we have like 3 or 4 Pauly Shore movies. And so, I was curious. And I want to offer you an opportunity. Oh, God. What if we got actual Pauly Shore to hype this podcast up? Because he's available on Cameo. And we can get Pauly Shore right now.
$325,
We can
Jeff?
get Pauly Shore right now.
Write it off, or you can write it off in your taxes.
Oh, my God.
We can get Pauly Shore right now
Oh, my God.
to talk about this show.
Wow.
Should we do this?
Wait, it says start a conversation with Pauly Shore for $3.
Yeah, for $3 I can
But
send
is
him a
that
text.
$3 per text or $3
Yes.
to start a text chain?
I believe $3 per message. I can send Pauly Shore a message right now for $3.
And be like, yo, we're talking about your movie.
Yeah, we're talking about your movie on a podcast. Should I do it? All right, guys, we're sending Pauly Shore a message.
Oh, my
right?
God! No!
we're,
Jeff!
we're texting Pauly
Becca! Becca!
Shore. We're texting Pauly Shore.
Becca, we need your help.
She's not coming.
Oh, no. Oh, God. This is a disaster.
All right.
This is a disaster.
Hey, Pauly.
Oh, God.
Hey, Pauly.
Oh, no.
This is Stuart Elmore.
No! No! You are not identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions suffer every day.
All right. Hey, Pauly.
You are not writing this to Stuart
I'm
Elmore.
saying, should I say, hey, Paul, and then put a dash Lee like he says things?
No,
Like,
oh
hey,
my
Paul,
God.
Lee.
Oh, my God.
No, I think at the
Oh
end you
my
should say. I think
God.
instead of that, you should at the
Oh,
end, as
cringe.
your like sign off, do thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I'll do
Oh,
that. Hey,
cringe.
Pauly. My name is
Don't you fucking dare.
undisclosed.
Just put your name. Just put Jeff Sweeney. You're at the masthead of the podcast.
Our names are Jeff Sweeney.
My name is John Travolta.
And we are the hosts of the podcast, The Fraser's Edge.
He's going to be upset why we're not doing a podcast about him.
Well, he can deal with that.
It'd be a 10-episode podcast, Pauly.
So the podcast, The,
The
Fraser's
next one's
Edge,
going to be On the Shore.
in which we
Pauly
are
Shore
covering
podcast.
every movie Brendan Fraser has ever been in. We have realized we are watching several of your movies and invite you to come on the show. Should I invite him?
I mean, he's going to charge us a monstrously amount of money if he's on Cameo, Jeff.
Yes, this is true.
I just realized that if this actually turns out to be something, and then we release this podcast, and I just dump a load of shit on the guy.
we just start talking bad shit about Pauly Shore.
I think regardless of anything, you have to keep this in.
Yeah, no, this is staying.
Oh, my God. Forgive me,
Quick,
Father.
quick. Start doing actual content so he can't cut it
So
out.
we can't cut it out.
Oh, no.
And we are covering in which we watch every Brendan Fraser.
This is so amazing to the audience.
Yeah, the
who's
audience
listening.
the audience loves how stressed you must sound, realizing I'm texting Pauly Shore at this
Just
moment.
so many things that could go wrong with this. Just so many things that could go wrong. Do you think he has a Chicago residence?
No, probably not. Say you rock. All right.
It's gonna. What are you gonna charge it to? Your PayPal or your American Express?
My American Express.
Yeah. Can you read out your credit card number for the listeners, Jeff? Here, I got it for you. It is 4439.
All right. Pauly Shore has just been sent this message.
Did you pay for it already?
Yeah.
Wait, do you have your payment information saved on Cameo?
I know I haven't memorized.
That cannot be a secured server.
I haven't memorized.
It is going to be hacked.
All right, guys. We've sent Pauly Shore a message. We'll see what happens.
Oh my god. I didn't think it would be episode 4 that we would just like fall down the barrel this much.
Start texting Pauly Shore. You got a problem with texting Pauly Shore?
I got a problem with us inviting a cast member who we're probably gonna, say some nasty
We'll have
things
him on to
about.
talk about my old school or whatever it is.
Oh my god.
Okay.
No, what we should talk about is a Goofy movie, which he's also in.
Are you talking about the new one he's in?
No, a Goofy movie.
Oh, like he's literally in a Goofy movie.
He's in a Goofy movie.
This is true.
The movie called A Goofy Movie with Goofy.
Folks, we are 30 minutes into this podcast and we've gotten to like maybe the 10-minute mark.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Pinocchio movie?
I've seen the trailers to all 5 Pinocchio movies.
This one?
Yes, and I know what one you're talking. It's like, Father, just...
my eyes, your name will be Pinocchio. Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
In which Pauly Shore is playing Pinocchio.
We stand
this
the
is the
yassification
DMCA.
of Pinocchio.
Yes.
Look how they yassified my Pinocchio.
Look how they yassified my boy. My wooden boy.
Okay.
Polly
I'm
knew what
taking
he
him
was
out.
doing.
He knew what he was doing.
Also, that is one of 5 Pinocchio movies that are coming
Oh
out,
my
Jeff.
God, there are 5 Pinocchios.
There's a Guillermo del Toro one that's coming out on Netflix. There's a Disney Plus one that Tom Hanks is starring in. Then there's a French one that is coming out. And
Stuart knows. He has
I
the
know this-
forbidden lore.
I know this because I was texting my girlfriend one day, and I was just like, for funsies, I just decided to start texting her, spam texting her, a bunch of links to Pinocchio trailers because I shit you not. Okay, there's not 5, but there's 4 of them. There's actually 4 of them. 3 of them are coming out this year. That one, the yassification one, came out in 2020.
Did it? It already came out?
That one came out. The yassified Pinocchio.
He didn't message back yet, but it's in my inbox.
Oh
I want you to know this.
God. Oh
Matt, look at
my God.
Yeah, it's there.
All right. All right. Shall we get back to...
Okay, yeah. So Pauly Shore is introduced in this movie, playing Stoney. He catches the bowl, and then they continue digging the hole. Stuart, what do they find?
They find a block of ice.
Yeah, they find the tip of a block of ice.
Yeah.
And so they dig it up, or first, like, Sean Astin looks and he sees a face.
Well, oh, no, Jeff. He looks
sees
down
the
this block
corner.
of ice, and he sees the Book of the Dead.
The Necronomicon?
And then all of a sudden, this mummy Egyptian explorer comes out like, no, you must not read from the book.
The Magi?
Something tells me that's not correct.
Is it that you watch this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah, but there is a face in this block of
Yeah.
ice.
And they're like, ah! And he's like, it's a caveman. He's like, I found a caveman buried in my backyard. We could be famous off of this.
We could be popular.
We could be This movie's about them trying to be popular.
off of a cave.
About the
About
quest.
Sean Astin trying to be popular.
This is about the quest for popularity.
The most unrealistic segment of this movie, I dare I say, that Sean Astin would not be popular at high school.
Yes. Cool guy.
Bold of these filmmakers to assume.
He plays a good nerd.
I mean, he's kind of a dick in this one, so I understand why.
He's
kind
kind
of
of
a
an
dick.
asshole.
Is there like a 90s or 80s, 90s like teen comedy that has Sean Astin and Michael J. Fox together?
Is there? I don't think so.
If there's not, then we just missed out on it. Like, we can't go back in time and make that happen, but good golly gosh darn if there was.
Maybe you can't go back in time, but some of us might be able to.
Yeah, Matt might have that ability. Who's to say?
Sorry, I didn't mean to like put you inside that frozen box of ice, Matt.
He didn't mean to freeze you up like that.
Freeze you up.
But they get him out.
Yes.
At one point, Pauly Shore does say, "Man, if we're famous off this, I could get full of fondage," which is just the thing he says.
Yeah.
They dig the body up, and at one point they're like, "I wonder if this is Jimmy Hoffa." It's funny.
Yeah, they were like, this could be Jim Morrison. This could be Jimmy Hoffa.
What other Jim name that disappeared strangely could it have been?
The 3 Jims.
3 Jims.
There's only the 2 Jims.
But they leave it in the shed, and they have a bunch of heaters heating it up.
Yeah, they decide they need to thaw it out, and Pauly Shore starts breathing on it.
They do the opposite of what the Arctic researchers do in The Thing, where they actually intentionally try to thaw this monster out.
I'm so diseased. I thought you were about to say Transformers, where they're freezing Megatron.
That's another one I could have picked out. Instead, I threw out The Thing.
An actual great movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So they start thawing him out, and then they like go to school.
Yeah, they go to school and they think,
Like-
this will stop cooking by the time we get back.
Here's a question. Like, they should have known it would have thawed for the most part out by the time they're done.
It's an 8-hour school day.
And they think that the thing is dead. So what, they were just going to come home and find the body, like, flopped on the floor of the garage?
Decomposed.
Yeah, they do just kind of put it on like 2 sawhorses and then just leave.
Yeah, put some heaters pointed at it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if it is dead, which is the scientific, logical
Yeah.
thought, typically when you freeze somebody, you die.
Yeah.
As opposed to what this movie would lead you to believe, as opposed to what Captain America movie would lead
Yeah.
you to believe, as opposed to what Megatron would lead you to believe, as opposed to what The Thing would lead you to
Yes.
believe. Typically, freezing things in blocks of ice kills you.
Yes.
Typically.
But it did not for this caveman. Because
No.
while they're at school, the caveman falls out of the ice and immediately regains consciousness.
Immediately.
And it is the one and only Brendan
Brendan
Fraser
Fraser.
in his first main starring role for a real movie.
And boy, is he cooking.
He's cooking right away.
Because, and I mean cooking physically.
Yeah, because he is covered in slime, slime and dirt. He's in nothing but a loincloth and long dreads or long, like, bushy hair.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah. Full-blown caveman.
And so he just starts running around. He's terrified of the modern world.
Yeah.
Which, if I was in that situation, I too would be a little shocked about how things have progressed.
Unrealistic. He wasn't
Yes.
shot. Oh,
I said shocked.
I said shot. Politics. Politics. Not allowed on the
So,
podcast.
no, Bill Clinton's been a guest on the show, so.
True.
So,
Look, communism.
it's
Yeah,
great. It's great.
It's a wonderful. Okay.
I'm like checking my phone to see if Pauly's texting me back yet.
oh my God, Jeff.
Anyway.
Did you leave your phone number in the message?
No.
Oh, well, that's a missed opportunity.
Well, no, it's like there's a
Because
message.
it's going to ask you for your number and to be like, okay, we should get together, hook up, and link some details. And be like, great, let me send you my phone number. Pay another $3. You could have just killed 2 birds with 1 stone at the initial $3. Now you're going to spend, how much is Cameo cashing that $3?
I mean,
Do you think it's a 50-50 split? Or do you,
it's got to be. No.
I mean, I know that like app stores and stuff like that take like 30%.
So Pauly's probably at best getting $1 out of that message I just sent.
at best.
Okay. So
yeah, Brendan Fraser freaking out, goes inside the home.
he goes inside the home. Well, first he runs out to the street and he attacks a garbage truck.
He thinks it's an elephant.
Yeah, he thinks it's an elephant.
Insert elephant noises, sound designer.
Yes. And he's like, ooh, 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 and he like throws a shovel at it.
Yeah.
And then he's just running around. He takes shelter inside the house.
Yes.
And trashes it.
I love that throughout this movie, this dude's first initial instincts is to mark cave drawings.
Yes. Make cave drawings and light fires.
On Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, I always thought that the creative expression was a little higher up on the food chain. This movie makes it sound like it is part of eating and shitting and drinking.
Yeah.
It's like
Very
along with
basic
eating,
elements.
they have to do cave drawings.
He has to start drawing.
Yes.
Preserve his culture.
I am thirsting my cave drawing quench or whatever.
Well, you're saying that if I like kidnapped you and dropped you in the middle of like, I don't know, Paris with no way to contact anyone, you would just start trying?
No.
Stuart's like, I don't think I would.
I don't think that's a thing that I would do.
He like goes up to Sean Astin's room. I keep
Yes.
saying just Sean Astin. What's his name in this? It's Dave. He goes up to Dave's room, and then the two guys come home. They find the place is a mess and there's cave drawings all over the walls.
Like, oh, dude.
And they're like, "Whoa, we should have been dead." So they go up to Dave's room and they like crack the door open. They see, or there's a fire alarm going off.
Yeah.
So they go up there and they see Brendan Fraser
Making
who
a fire.
Doesn't have a name yet. He's making a fire using the old like spinning the stick over the wood method.
Right.
I'm sure that has some actual name, but I was never an Eagle
It's
Scout.
just friction.
Friction.
Yeah.
And so they close the door, and Pauly Shore's like, "We should just walk, man." And I'm like, "Where are they gonna go?" But it's funny.
Yeah, it's like that's their own house.
Yeah, it's a good bit. And so they they go in, and Fraser like is kind of like hesitant of them. They're very hesitant of him.
Ooh.
Yeah. Fraser almost attacks them.
Yeah.
But not before Pauly Shore, Stoney pulls out his lighter and lights it. And Fraser's like, "Fire. Fire. Oh, fire."
He's like, yes. He gives it to Fraser, and Fraser like activates the lighter, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then a phone goes off, and it freaks him out.
Yes.
He's like, ah!
And so
Very artistic choice, Brendan Fraser.
there is a really good bit in a little bit where like it's like rapidly panning between them. And Pauly Shore's like, "It's your parents." Dave's like, "My parents." And it goes to Fraser. He's like, "Ah!" It's really funny. Like, Fraser is really showing off what will become his like one of his more notable skills later in his career, which is his physical comedy aptitude. He has. Did we just lose Matt?
I think we did.
Oh, he's coming back.
He might be coming back.
All right, there he is.
What happened? Oh wait, we got.
Hello? You're muted now.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. You guys just died.
Okay, yeah, you just disappeared.
How did it come back like that though?
I don't know. You're gonna hear me just like if you decide to use my audio, you're gonna hear me just saying just like, "Oh no, oh no."
we're gonna have two disparate audio
But
files.
it's weird how it just automatically reconnected like that.
That was interesting.
I'm gonna leave all of this in the podcast. I'm not cutting any of this out.
Stuart never cuts anything.
No, I don't. I'm lazy. I work a full-time job. You think I have enough time to like fiddle splice shit and all that thing? No.
So they
Did I just wreck your train of thought?
you did. You fully wrecked my train of thought. Oh, they give him a makeover.
Oh,
They like somehow get him to sympathize with them. They empathize with him. Dave's like, "Dave," pointing at himself. Dave. And he's like, "We found the missing link." And he's like, Link. I'll call him Link.
Brilliant.
And so he just like touches him. He's like, "You Link. Me Dave. Link, Dave, Stoney. Link, Dave, Stoney."
What's
And,
your
like,
name? Dave.
It's like, "No. Link, Dave."
You did kind of gloss over the fact that Stoney really wanted to name him Stoney number 2.
Yes, he wants to name him Stoner too because he's from the Stone Age instead of just a stoner.
Ha! Stop checking your phone. Polly has not texted you back.
He has not yet. I'm just when it happens, I just want to get our reactions.
Oh, okay. Do you think it's gonna happen within the?
Probably not, but
I mean, based on where we're at in the movie, we might have another 3 hours of this episode.
Shit.
Stuart, remember last week and during our Guilty Until Proven Innocent episode when you said, "Don't worry, folks, the 2-hour episodes will come back at some point."
Yeah, I just didn't think it'd be this fast.
So you
Thought we'd be a little gradual.
you
with
cursed
it.
yourself.
I did.
It's my fault. Like the Carrie one was the longest one for a hot minute,
Yeah, it was.
and now this one's going to be the longest one
fuck
for a
you,
hot minute.
Matt.
So they give him a makeover. They give him a bath. They use like industrial grade cleaning products.
Yeah.
Because he's so dirty.
Yeah.
They cut his hair and they match Stoney's haircut. He calls him. He's got the Stoney, man.
Ha!
They brush his teeth, and he has fun playing in a bathtub. And then they
He
dress.
drinks aftershave.
Yes, he drinks aftershave and then spits it out because it is clearly disgusting, as we all know.
Because we've all swallowed aftershave before as a kid, right?
Yes, all of us have.
Right?
Yes, it's a frequent thing.
This is not a joke, Jeff, because I actually swallowed.
You did actually?
I actually swallowed.
I thought this was a bit.
No, but you did not swallow aftershave?
No,
Matt,
I
did
haven't.
you?
I don't think Jeff has.
Jeff, did
how
you?
how,
No,
how
I'm
did
not.
that go for you, Stuart?
How was that?
I mean, I don't want to talk about it now since apparently I'm the only one who's done it.
So it wasn't
Well,
good.
you brought it up, so you have to talk about it. That's how it works.
Was it a bad experience?
So anyway, in the movie,
Okay, let's-
Brendan Fraser is in new clothes.
He's in new clothes. They put him in, I presume, some of their leftover clothes.
Yeah.
They look baggy
That all
on him.
Which how?
Yeah, because both the guys are smaller than Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. So how do they have baggy clothes for him?
Movie magic.
Fuck that. Anyway.
Movie magic.
It's called They Made Custom Clothes for Brendan Fraser because the original ones they got for him didn't fit.
So it was a
Wow.
little wild.
Talk about fittings, am I right?
Yeah. But I right around this point in the movie, I'm like, oh, I see why this is Fraser's star vehicle. What really like blows him up as an actor. Because he's doing all these scenes where he's like in a bathtub, guys are bathing him, he's like spitting out aftershave, having his teeth brushed, and he has the funniest facial expressions. He's really just putting 110% of this character and expressing like that skill that he'll grow at physical comedy. Like I think we had talked about in one of our earlier episodes that he's kind of like he has the skill that guys like Harrison Ford have, where it's like kind of an egoless physical comedy routine, where even if they're like in Indiana Jones or The Mummy or this movie, like they're not afraid to really just do anything for the purpose of the story
To
and
make
getting a laugh.
themselves a joke in some places.
Yeah, they'll make themselves a joke because he's very much making himself a joke at this
the
point.
opposite problem of our good old friend John Travolta.
Yes. Travolta never wanted to make himself a joke.
He thinks he's in on the bit, and he's never in on the bit.
Whereas Fraser is willing to be like, yeah, even though he had hesitations doing this movie, the second he agrees to do the movie and commit himself to it, he commits himself to it.
He bathes.
He bathes in it, literally, and just gives himself over to playing this character, whatever way it'll impact his career.
So now that we've gotten to full-fledged haircut Brendan
Yes.
Fraser, I think it's time that we cut to, Matt, you know what I'm cutting to?
No.
The hair ranking. Cue the music.
I remember this.
All right.
Yeah, Stuart had he had a moment of deep distress, and he decided to
Bring it back.
bring it back.
Bring it back. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Brendan Fraser in Encino Man. I gotta be honest, folks. It's been better hair. This is like very intentional though, which is like it's to carry over some categories from the Travolting segment, season 1. There is when things are done intentionally, like that adds a little bit of story growth to it. So like they make his hair, they give him a little bit of the stony hair. Like it's like somewhat like dread-ish. Like he's still got like some dreads, kinda.
Yeah.
And it's wavy and it's like staggered. Like it looks messy. And it looks still
Yeah.
a little bit gross, but at least like not as gross. So where does that put me? Well, I would say the looks definitely don't do anything for him. His hair does not give him any bonus points, at least for me in this day and age. Apparently when he walked through the high school, he's like the sexiest thing come
Yes.
alive. So maybe there's something I'm missing in the 90s
Well, it's
of
because
that.
there's something primal about him.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, you clearly aren't on fashion TikTok like I am. That's a 10 out of 10 haircut.
Is it for now?
Yeah.
For today's
Yeah.
standard? That I don't know about that. Anyway, let me-
90s are back in.
I mean, I would say Pauly Shore's is like looks better than Fraser's personally. But
I there are a lot of times where Fraser's looks bad, but there are a couple shots where it's like, oh man, that haircut actually looks good in this shot.
Jeff, can I see the ranking?
Yes, you can.
I just want.
It's 3 movies.
I just want to see. Put it above. Actually, put it at number 4. Put it at the bottom of the list.
Bottom of the list.
Put it at the bottom of the list.
Whoa.
I would say like I like its story purpose, but it doesn't save it enough for how bad it looks, in my opinion. Looks pretty bad.
Whoa.
Which I know is intentional, and I know I can't like. It's hard to like judge it based on looks if they're intentionally making it look bad. But like, I don't know.
But I mean, you got to talk about his hair at the end of the movie, though.
What is it look like?
Because when he goes to the prom, like.
Oh, that one is awful.
Yeah.
That one is bad.
Yeah.
When it's like just he's got like the eraser head cut.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Okay, so continuing on, they take a Polaroid together.
Yes.
I want to know. However many takes they did that is however many Polaroids they had.
Yes.
So let's imagine they did 4 takes, right? That's
Yes.
reasonable. They did 4 takes of that Polaroid shot. Who got the Polaroids?
I would assume Pauly Shore gets one, Sean Astin gets one,
Fraser gets one.
Fraser gets one.
And the props department gets one.
Yes, that's probably how it.
That's a question we should ask Pauly.
We should ask Pauly if he
What
has
happened
the
to
Polaroid.
those Polaroids? And if he has one. That'd be a great memorabilia thing.
I'll text him now when he responds.
Yeah, since you two are best bros.
Yeah, me and
evidently.
Pauly are like this.
Yeah.
Still waiting to hear back from you, bud. If you're listening.
He's never gonna respond. Well, if he does respond while we're in recording this podcast, I will. I don't know what I'll do, Jeff.
You don't know what you'll do.
I don't know what I will do.
Well, hopefully we'll find out.
Okay. They go to school then, I believe, right?
Well, first he meets the parents. Because the parents come back.
Oh, right.
And
they have to
Sean
do this
Astin comes up
weird-
with the derpiest explanation for who this guy is. Because he's Linkovich Chernovsky. He's a foreign. Don't you remember me talking about the exchange student we were going to have? And the parents are like, I don't remember that. But clearly Sean Astin's about to start a fight. So the dad's like, I think I do remember. And the mom's like, how could I forget this? And they just kind of accept that they're going to have this link in their house.
Yeah.
The movie
From
kind of just
Estonia.
from Estonia.
Yeah.
Because he's from the Stone Age.
Ha!
Estonia.
Haha. It's great.
Matt, he's from Estonia.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's friends with Stoney.
from-
He's friends with Stoney. Best joke in this movie. No, definitely not. I will say, Link learns modern etiquette very quickly.
Yeah.
He doesn't learn, there's a lot of things he doesn't, including, how to act around women for a little bit. But, he very quickly learns, how the functions of this family dynamic work. And, how to walk around the house.
Yeah. Well, he's
You say that, but then he did also eat the dog's food from the bowl.
He does eat the dog food. This is true.
Which, but I have to comment on that. That's all done in one shot, which means when the dog goes and eats from the bowl, and then because it's like cookie crumble thing. It's not actually dog food,
Yeah.
but you still have to commend
Travolta?
You have to commend Fraser's. This is we got to put a nickel in the jar or something for every time we accidentally do a Travolta name drop.
Yeah.
You have to commend
that'll
Fraser's.
fund getting Pauly Shore on the show.
Yeah.
Fun.
So you have to commend Fraser's dedication because even though he's not eating dog food, he is eating food that a dog is also eating.
Yes.
And holy shit, does he commit?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that dog got slobber all over that food,
Fraser's
and Fraser's just diving right in.
What I'm saying, Fraser, he commits. There's no ego in the performance.
No, not at all.
He goes in there and he just starts slobbering it up.
Yeah, with the dog.
Yes. But the next day they go to school.
Yes.
They bring Link with them, and they decide they're going to enroll him in a bunch of classes. They enroll him in Spanish, and I do not remember what other classes he goes to.
I don't know either.
But
I imagine it's pretty standard, right, Matt?
He goes to a class that has a frog in it.
oh yeah, he eats a frog.
Oh yeah.
At this point, the movie kind of just settles into a more standard '90s
And this
like
is
late 80s.
Yeah, and this is where the movie kind of dropped off for me a little bit.
Because it does, if you've seen Weird Science, it has a very similar vibe to Weird Science.
Yeah.
Which is just like two nerdy kids create in that movie they create a perfect woman to like be cool. In this they have a caveman.
Yeah.
I wish that like this whole like bit of the film was just like a montage with Randy Newman behind it. You know?
If he's just
it has, for whatever reason, watching that scene, it reminded me of Toy Story when like all of Andy's things in Toy Story are replaced with things that are like related to Woody and to be related with. Yes, that one.
To me. But
I was like, that song would be great here.
But like we're slowly seeing Sean Astin, like all of his friends talking with the caveman instead.
Yeah.
But Link immediately settles in great into the school environment. Everyone thinks he's cool. All the women think he's attractive. But he does not understand modern social cues or modern sex dynamics. Because he at one point, Pauly Shore points at a pair of boobs, and is like, Zagas, baby. And so Brendan Fraser, Link, just starts walking around, like, trying to grab breasts, saying, Zagas. Immediately, quickly, like, we do not do that. We do not do that. That is not how this works.
Yeah.
And thankfully, he gets that message pretty quick.
Thankfully.
But
could
still
become very problematic.
Yes. But immediately, like, he is the sex symbol of school, which starts upsetting the current, like, popular guy.
Yeah.
Who, I cannot remember that guy's name.
You know what we kind of missed?
It's Matt. His
Is
name's
it Matt
Wilson.
Oh, Matt Wilson.
You know what we kind of missed?
What do we miss?
That the whole subplot of this movie, besides of them trying to get cool, is Sean Astin trying to take this girl out to prom.
He's trying to take Robin Sweeney out to prom.
Robin Sweeney. Hey, Jeff.
Who they have like a history, like he has a picture of them like as like babies
Kids.
in a bathtub together.
Yeah, in which he says the creepiest line in this movie.
Hey, we were both naked together.
You know, we were both naked together before. And it's a picture of them as babies in a bathtub, and she's
Which
like,
he keeps.
"Oh."
He
in
keeps
his wallet.
In his wallet.
Next to his Romeo and Juliet laminated flowers.
Good pull, Jeff.
Thank you.
You did forget the other subplot, which is I think her name is Ella, which is Robin's friend.
Yeah.
Just the whole time really wants to fuck Brendan Fraser.
she keeps being like, I really want to sleep with this caveman.
Because, like, there was a bit in the very beginning before Fraser's thawed out where that same woman is in class with the teacher. He's talking about the caveman. Again, what's the name of it? Magnus.
Cro-Magnon.
I am Maximus Decimus Aurelius.
It's Cro-Magnon.
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 Decimus. Cro-Magnon. But he's just like, oh, he looks pretty hot. I date him. I let him hit.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no, you wouldn't want to do that. They're very violent with women and all that stuff. It's like, okay.
I want it more now.
Self-respect, ladies and gentlemen.
And so while Dave wants to play it really safe with Link and just use him as a way to get popular himself, Stoney starts using Link, like trying to give Link a good time on his own accord.
Yeah.
He takes Link to an amusement park.
Yeah.
They ride a roller coaster together.
Which apparently Pauly Shore hated. Pauly Shore is terrified of roller coasters.
He must have hated it. Because like, you can tell they shot it on a real roller coaster.
Yeah.
And like, you don't just do one take. You probably have to do like 2 or 3 just for safety. So Brendan Fraser, Pauly Shore, and all those poor background extras were just a lot.
I'm going to get paid to ride on a roller coaster. Shut the fuck up.
You probably got so sick by the end of it.
I mean, well, it's like, what, 3 takes, if even?
Yeah. If you do more.
Jeff, I have to go pee, but you keep talking.
Me keep talking?
And Matt, of course.
Yes.
I'm taking the headphones off, so I can't hear what you're saying, Matt.
Exhilarating. This is the best podcast ever.
Yes.
Hold on, I just there are. Adam says to tell you guys hi.
Oh, hi, Adam. Adam Campbell, previous guest of the past and future guest of the show.
Yeah, previous guest and my boss.
Oh yeah, he's your boss.
He's my boss. He says to tell you guys that he loves them, that he loves you and misses you.
I miss him too.
I specifically waited for Stuart to leave to say that.
Stuart will now listen to this episode and hear this. Amazing. He's going to be so mad. No, right after this point, like, this rift kind of starts forming between Stoney and Dave over how, like, they're using Link, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, Stoney's a real bro. He just wants, like you said, he just wants him to have a good time. He's really focusing on just enjoying time with him.
Yeah.
And he kind of makes him a Stoney Jr. and
Yes.
And Dave is not about that. Dave freaks out. He's like, "You got him talking like you."
Because they do start to teach Link how to talk.
Oh yeah, and it's entirely in Stoney's vocabulary.
Where he's
they
just
start doing the like Pauly Shore wolf calls.
The Pauly speak.
Yeah,
You gotta love that he just went with Pauly speak for his.
I think it's fairly accurate.
I mean, he's the only person who talks like that.
Yeah.
So it is definitely Pauly speak. So there's a fight that happened. They go to a skating rink party where Sean Astin's hoping to like kind of get with Robin.
Well, you forget it's specifically because Ella wanted Link
okay.
there.
Yes.
She invites Link. Dave and Stoney are not invited to this at all. They just show up.
Yeah. So it's just
They were specifically told not to go because they stink.
because no one likes them. And so Link's the only one.
Hello again.
So they show. Hello, welcome back.
I'm back.
So they go with Link to this skating rink, and Link just starts. He gets really attached to this game called Rad Racer, which is like one of those arcade handheld driving racing games.
Yeah, they're very fun.
And he gets very attracted to it, and he likes the idea of driving, which is important to note for later. Meanwhile, Sean Astin gets into a fight with Matt on the ice rink because Dave's been talking to Robin, and Robin is ostensibly with Matt.
Right.
Even though she's not, like, enamored by him.
The classic tale.
Yeah. Link goes out to defend Dave, but he's a pacifist caveman, we learn. So he doesn't fight Matt. Matt just punches him and knocks him out, too.
In the grand scheme of, like, Darwinism, that doesn't work.
Yes.
I mean, right? We're aware of this, right?
Like, he would have been violent.
It would have been, like, extremely violent. Yeah. The fact that he didn't, like, murder them and, like, you know, kill the whole family the first night is kind of a miracle.
Yeah, it's kind of a miracle he's a nice guy.
Yeah. But the fact that
Link's a chill guy. He's cool. All he wants is to be with his wife again. Or his mate.
Yeah.
There is a scene right around because they leave from the ice rink in shame. There's a scene around here where Pauly Shore Stoney brings Link to 7-Eleven convenience store, and he like teaches him how to buy like the 5 essential food groups, which to Stoney are you need your vegetables, and he picks up like what even is the vegetable? I can't remember because he gets like beef jerky,
candy
like
corn,
meat, candy corn. That's it.
Yeah,
he has a bunch of candy. He says like these are the 5 food groups.
He's like milk duds are your dairy group. He grabs some like fruit gummies for your fruit group. He grabs candy corn for the vegetable group, and then he has a burrito for the meat group that's heating up in the microwave at the 7-Eleven.
And the clerk at the 7-Eleven is not happy with them. Did anyone else recognize this clerk?
No.
So this clerk is played by Eric Avari as Raji. Eric Avari is also we will be seeing in The Mummy. But he's like one of those guys who pops up in a bunch of movies in the 90s.
The librarian guy!
He's one of those guys who pops up in so many movies in the 90s. Like, he's in this. He's in The Mummy. He's in Independence Day. In the opening scene, he's like the SETI officer who detects the aliens.
Yeah.
He's in Stargate as the tribe leader. He's in the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes.
Is he still working?
He's still working. He's last in a movie in 2019. But look, he's 70 years old now. But he's in Mr. Deeds. He just pops up. He's in Daredevil. He's Elektra's dad. He pops up in so many things, or especially around this time period, that I just always like get a little like cheer when I see him pop up.
He's working.
He's working actor.
Yeah. Puts
So
food on the table.
he puts food on the table for the family, much like Link is trying to do in this movie.
Yeah.
Being told no in every opportunity.
Does it seem where they like pour the slushies down their mouths?
Yes.
Yeah, that's that scene.
That's the same
yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And the whole and I'm finding this movie still enjoyable at this point, and I'll say shockingly, I'm finding Pauly Shore funny in this movie at this point.
What?
He's great in the.
He's
what are you talking? He's
very
fantastic
funny
in
at
this
this
movie.
point.
Jeff, I know you're waiting for him to text you back. I don't think we're not live, so like, he ain't listening, right? Not at least until another few
No,
weeks.
I think there's a really good chemistry between Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser.
There is. I
They have a
agree.
really natural friendship chemistry.
I don't
Something I
disagree.
don't think Sean Astin's tapping into.
Right.
Sean Astin, like, I love him. Good actor. He's been in a lot of good movies.
He's definitely phoning it in.
He's
this.
phoning in this movie.
Yeah.
And so when we get to this segment of the movie and he's out of the picture, I'm kind of vibing with him more. Because I'm liking the Pauly Shore Fraser dynamic. They're a good duo. They're funny together.
Yeah.
Just kind of being 90s scumbums.
Bring the Shore Fraser team up back.
Yeah. No, we will be seeing it a few more times.
Yes.
We will.
We what? Are we, Jeff?
We will.
Are you sure?
100%.
We will.
Yes. So, yeah, so I'm liking that dynamic. We do get a scene where kind of things start to come to a head at a dinner table. Stoney and Link have dinner at Dave's house with his family.
Yeah.
And there's some tension between them all over Link being the popular one and Stoney kind of driving him away from Dave, et cetera, et cetera. This is when we do get the movie's most quoted line, though. Or not, I shouldn't say most quoted, but most well-known line for how incomprehensible it is.
Which is?
It's, Dave's dad asks Stoney, he's like, hey, don't you, like, ever have dinner with your own family? And
Yeah.
you know exactly what's about. And Stoney, I had to bring this up because I cannot possibly remember this. Stoney says, if you're edged because I'm wheezing all your grindage, just chill. Because if I had the whole Brady Bunch thing happening at my pad, I'd go grind over there. So don't tax my gig so hardcore, Cruster. What?
Do you think that was written?
Nah, cannot have been.
Could not have been a written line of dialogue.
Yes.
Had to all come from Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Which, knowing that, much more impressive.
He just whips that out.
Just whips it out of there.
Yeah.
Too bad he's dead.
And then we get, I believe after this, a short other montage just of kind of how popular Link is becoming.
You're missing the montage of them learning or teaching Link how to fight.
Oh, yeah, they have a fight montage.
I think we're missing the montage of... I think we're just missing a lot of montages because there's a lot of montages.
The montage where we hear wrestling legend announcer Gorilla Monsoon.
Gorilla Monsoon, brother.
You just hear him in the background of the shot
What is he
where
yell?
he learns to do the airplane spin.
You just start hearing all these wrestlers. Matt, how hyped were you?
Oh, I was very hype. As someone who hosts a wrestling podcast, go check it out.
Yeah, we will do the official plug for that at the end of the episode. Matt does host a wrestling podcast that everyone should check out.
It hyped me up to hear the voice of Gorilla Monsoon. There's another moment where something else of interest, that's interesting to me.
Of wrestling lore.
No, not wrestling related. Someone else shows up in this movie that I want to like point out, but that's a little bit later.
Okay, I might be pointing at the same person. I'm not sure. Because we get this montage of how popular Link is becoming and how far Dave is falling.
Yeah.
Because both Robin and Ella are starting to fall in love with Link. Link has no idea about this. He's just kind of like climbing on walls and being crazy.
Yeah.
So during this montage, we do get this one kid walks up and tries to tell Link that the computer club has voted him like their most popular, or like that he should be the president or something. Matt,
It's like, man,
is this who you're pointing
That's
at?
not the one.
Okay.
No.
Man, even the nerds are calling him more popular.
Yeah, the nerd. But did you recognize the nerd?
Oh my god, is this another recognizable person?
Yeah, it's a.
Isn't it someone in the Goonies?
Yeah, it's not only it's Short Round from Indiana Jones. Short Round.
Wow.
Because he was in The Goonies with Sean Astin, and most recently he was in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, playing the dad.
Yeah.
Which is a phenomenal movie. Everyone should check it out. But it was cool. Kei Kwan is in this movie for a little bit. Yeah, Kei Hui Kwan. That's his full name. What?
Nothing.
What?
Does your back hurt?
No.
From carry this entire podcast episode.
Following that, we end up at like this scene that I thought was really fucking funny, where it's the driver's ed scene.
Yes. Is it the driver's ed scene or the museum scene? A lot of these scenes like are interchangeable, and you could just flop them around in the movie.
I think the museum is after the driver's ed.
Okay. Because I think we're having a hard time keeping track of exactly the scenes because they all could be swapped.
No, it is the other way around. It's the museum first.
Okay. Because they go to a museum with the ancient history teacher who's teaching them about Cro-Magnons. Stuart.
What, Jeff?
Cro-Magnon.
Homo sapien.
Homo sapien. Ian McKellen.
Yes.
But they go to the museum, and Link starts seeing like the skeletons of like saber-toothed tigers and predators from his time. He starts getting terrified. He's like running around.
This is where the culmination of what Link's whole progress could have been leading up to. Because again, where do we find him at the end of this freak out?
In the caveman exhibit.
In the caveman exhibit, trying to
Crying.
make a fire.
He's trying to make a fire, and he's crying.
Yes.
Because he's realizing like all the things from his past, predator and prey,
are
all dead and in this museum now.
Yeah.
It's become arranged, and he's just like he's upset because he says family.
And
He says family, and Fraser I think is doing a really nice job.
I
in
was
this
gonna
scene.
say it's like, you know, I've been a little quiet throughout this like episode because like this movie's been like it started off pretty strong and then it kind of took a dip for me.
Yeah,
This was a nice little peak.
nice little peek for you.
Nice little peek for me because I bought it. I bought the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like crying. He's very emotional about it. He's like family.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh my god,
Like,
this is family.
and it's like all this fun that he's having is kind of just like it's like this barrier of being a goof that he's putting up.
So
because
then-
he doesn't want to deal with the hurt.
What's really crazy is that this movie then turns into a time travel movie where they build a time
And
machine
send him back, no.
to send him back to 1950. No, I'm
No,
just kidding.
they find a better workaround for how he can get back with this cave woman.
Yes.
And by better, I mean it doesn't make sense. But he's upset, and like Stoney and Dave kind of reconcile in the moment for a second and grab him, and they're like, "We're your family."
Yeah, or your new family.
Yeah.
But
And,
of course, asshole Matt Wilson is
Yeah.
watching this
And he's
happen
like,
and start.
I wonder what this is all about.
Why was it your Stallone?
Yeah, that's my meathead impression.
Is Stallone a meathead?
Have you watched any Stallone movie?
Oh,
I love
yeah, he
meathead,
is a
but he's
meathead.
meathead. So the driver's ed scene is next.
Yeah.
Where Stoney and Dave are in a classroom, and they look out the window and they see Dave in his driver's ed class, or Link in his driver's ed class, and he just jumps in a car, in the driver's seat, and turns the car on. They run out, and the last second jump in through the windows, face first,
Yeah.
to get in the car when Link just takes off with him. He apparently learned how to drive from that Rad Racer game,
Yeah.
which is, you know, how I learned to drive too, is from the arcade game at the.
Well, that's how I
the
learned
ice
too,
rink.
man. And then he flips the car up into this weird, like, sideways position
Yes, and drives like at a 45-degree angle.
with only two tires on the road. The other
Yes.
two tires suspended in midair.
And it's not like he just does that when he turns. He like stays on this 45-degree angle for a substantial period of time.
How do they do? Because that's not that's a trend and like that's a stunt that I've seen in multiple
Yeah.
movies. How do they do that?
Wire rig would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just have like a rig holding the other side up.
it's cool.
It is. It looks cool. It's fun. But he takes off with the car. The school calls the cops to chase down the car because
Yeah.
he stole the property of the school.
He's still the driver's ed one,
The driver's ed wagon.
which Sean Astin's in the front seat. Or no, Stoney's in the front seat.
Yeah, Stoney's in the front seat with Link. And
Stoney could have stopped this whole thing because those driver's ed cars have brakes
Yeah.
in the front passenger seat.
But Stoney knows that Link's taking him somewhere good.
Yeah, of course.
And he does. He takes him to the club.
Oh yeah.
Takes him to a Mexican club.
He does.
Also, am I hearing myself twice?
Are you?
I started hearing myself twice for a second.
Oh, do you still hear yourself twice?
No.
Okay. Oh, we did not hear you twice at any point.
All right.
But they go to this Mexican club, and Stoney like just starts blending in with all like the regular clientele.
He starts blending in with the cholos.
Yeah. And he's just like, "Hey guys, how are you? It's me. I'm Stoney." And they make him take tequila shots, which he just downs like a champ. We stand Stoney in this household. And then Link hits up the dance floor, and he like starts dancing with some guy's girl, and the guy comes up, and he's just like, and he's speaking in Spanish, and he's just like, "Hey, don't mess with my girl." And the only words that Link has learned in Spanish class from like 30 minutes ago, it's a good callback, is he's like, "Where's the bathroom?"
The cheese is moldy. Yeah. The cheese is old and moldy. Where is the bathroom?
the like guy who's coming up to him is just like, "See, she's not worth it." And then his girl hits him, and no one wins.
Yeah.
But the cops show up, and Dave immediately pushes Stoney and Robin out and says, "You guys get out of here. I'll grab Link." So the two of them run off and manage to avoid being caught by the cops. Dave and Link get taken in. Second Fraser movie in a row that we've covered where he gets a mugshot taken.
Yeah.
Except this time it's like a cool mugshot because he doesn't understand what the cops are. They get locked up. They make one phone call. Dave fucking wastes his one phone call.
Dave is such a fucking idiot.
Like Sean Astin,
my God,
such a clown in this movie.
Like,
Jeff,
you
it's
have one.
It's not
you have,
Pauly Shore.
What?
He just checked his phone again. Matt, we need to stop this.
It's like you get one fucking phone call. You know what you do? You call your lawyer, or you call someone who can call a lawyer for you.
You call your parents even. He calls Robin, and it's like, "You got home, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I'm calling to ask, will you go to the prom with me?" It's like, what?
I'm using my one phone call to call you to ask you to prom. So you gotta say yes because this is my one phone call.
And she's like, "No." Justifiably so. He's done nothing to like. He's done nothing for her this whole movie. She has no reason to want to go to prom with him.
And it's literally like, if someone told me that, I would be like, "No, you're stupid.
Call a fucking lawyer." Jesus.
Sean Astin.
And so instead, she's like, "I want to go to the prom with Link. Can you ask him for me?" He's like, "No!"
Damn!
Like Sean Astin.
Sean Astin to the heart.
So and then Sean Astin, he's such like an asshole in this movie. He's a piece of shit. He's like, "Well, if I can't have her, nobody can." He puts Link in his car, packs up a backpack for her, drives to the middle of nowhere, drops Link off on the side of the road.
Yeah. Like,
somehow Stoney finds him. I don't know how.
I don't know how either.
But Stoney shows up and he's like, "You can't do that to him," and they fight. They get into a fight. Link breaks it up.
Yeah.
And they have this reconciliation moment. Yeah, he's like, "No!" And they're like, family.
It's at this point when Draco Malfoy, it's like, "Get your hands off me, you stupid ape!" No!
Stuart picked up that I was talking about Planet of the Apes as well.
Thank you. Yes. I picked up what you were dropping down.
And it's, "You're damn dirty ape. Get your shit together."
Homo sapien.
Homo sapien. But he breaks it up and they like have their family moment. They reconcile. And they're like, Link's going to go to the prom with Robin. And then we'll just go as like his squad, his backup. Oh, wait, no. Dave decides he's not going to go. He and Stoney are not going to go. That's right. That's what Robin pitches. She's like, "You can still come." He's like, "No, it'll just be you and Link."
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing, bro.
Yeah. And so she and Link, it is very embarrassing.
Has anyone been in that situation where
a caveman goes with my girlfriend instead of me?
No. Where like, a girl asks you out to the prom, or you ask a girl out to the prom thinking like you two are going to go as dates, and then you show up to the dance and she ditches you for her friends or somebody else.
No, I have not had that.
No one's had that experience?
Have you?
Matt, have you had that experience?
I feel like Stuart's about to reveal
I did that to someone.
Oh!
Damn!
We got a real Robin Sweeney in this.
Yeah. For the record, that never happened. To
Oh,
me.
okay. I thought you were going
Just
to
want to make that clarification very clear.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And so they go to the prom where there's like a funk group, metal group playing. It's very 90s. Everything here is so 90s.
That
at
is
this point.
that. So this is the part where I'm gonna chime in. This is the part that I was like,
Okay.
this is something that I. So the band that is playing is a band called Infectious Grooves.
Okay.
They
Tell
are
me
a
more.
funk metal band, legitimately a funk metal band.
Yeah.
Their bassist Rob Trujillo goes on from that band to become the bassist for Metallica.
Oh.
Whoa.
So you're
So-
watching the film debut of the bass player for Metallica.
Damn.
Okay, that's kind of cool. That's actually
That is-
pretty cool.
That is kind of cool.
This is extremely 90s. This whole movie is very 90s. This scene especially, like the fashion statements of the 90s in this point are just like, what is happening?
Yeah, we hit a moment.
They're
Yeah.
dripping.
They're drippy. It's a lot drippy.
Yeah.
Stuart, do you know what drippy means? I'd have a Gen Zer explain this to me.
You're also saying it wrong.
Yeah, Jeff, it's a drip.
It's drip or dripping. It's not drippy.
Yeah. No, it's not drippy. Yeah.
Stuart, you don't know this.
I know. The drip is like a compliment. It's like, you got the drip, man.
No one.
You
No.
dripping.
If I already
Yes.
missed the train on this.
Drip is
Yes.
a compliment.
Okay.
No, Jeff, what do you think it means?
Well, I knew it was a compliment. I just heard someone's like, Jeff, you look drippy.
Yeah.
Maybe they meant sweaty.
Jeff, you look wet.
You,
look wet.
drippy. You
Very-
look like you're dripping.
Yeah, to
Not-
you, it
not-
probably might not have been a compliment.
Oh, rough. Sad.
So, yeah.
Jeff's outfit's typically not dripping.
I'm dripping right now. The silence is deafening.
With your construction and
Yes.
neighborhood.
Construct. Oh, there's construction. We should wrap it. I didn't even notice that started. So while Link is at the prom with Robin, who's starting to like have some second guessings about being with Link.
Yeah.
She kind of feels guilty.
Right.
Dave and Stoney are hanging out in their car, or they're just hanging out in the house.
Right.
Dave's house. Matt, the shithead bully, who might actually still be a better person than Dave, possibly.
Possibly.
He might be a better person than the lead character of this movie.
He wouldn't ditch his friends on the side of the road.
Yeah,
He'd punch him, but he wouldn't ditch him on the side of the road.
he pulls up and he sneaks into Dave's room, and he's trying to find Link, I think, but instead he finds the Polaroids of them thawing Link out.
Yeah.
The man is very chill about learning that he's been going to school with a fucking caveman. Like, he's very chill about the whole. He's like, whoa, this is how I'll win her back. Like, that's his thought. That's his thought. Like, in the same situation, my thought would have been, like,
Get it? He's very chill.
he's very chill. He's been frozen.
in a block of ice.
Like, he's very chill.
Pauly is not going to text you back. Let it go. Every time you pick up your phone from here on to the end of the Fraser's Edge, I'm just going to say Pauly's not going to text you back, Jeff.
Okay. But Link,
I mean, he paid money for that text.
I did. I spent $3. But Link and Robin are voted prom king and queen.
Right away.
Yeah, Keoi Kwan gives them the crown.
There is not even like a campaign for Link ever
Yeah.
in this movie.
Well, everyone just thinks he's the coolest
He's
guy.
that cool.
They think he's so cool.
Also-
and I'll be honest, Brendan Fraser showed up to my high school. Probably the coolest guy there.
He'd also be like 50.
Well, I mean, time works out.
Okay. Is at this point, should we rank the prom hair now?
Do you want to?
I mean, it's different hair.
It's up to you. If you want to, I'll bring it up.
You know what? Nah.
Okay. Nar.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, did we lose Matt again?
I might have lost Matt again.
Sad. Well,
Very sad.
while we wait for him to reconnect, I'll simply say that
Hold on one second.
When-
It'll probably reconnect with that.
There
Oh,
it-
there
it's
it goes. Yeah, it's coming back.
he's back. He's back. Okay.
I don't know if you. So literally on my end, it all of a sudden showed up on Zoom with Stuart Elmore with like 3 red bars next to it on Zoom. and then and then you guys started freezing up, and then you froze, and I was like, wait, is this call about to drop? God damn it, it did drop.
Fully lost.
Yeah.
Matt, I was saying before we get back to the prom that Dave's biggest insult to Stoney when they had a fight earlier was saying that the only thing he ever cared about was nugs, chilling, and grindage, which are like the three basic like ways of life.
It's the three elements.
I mean, Stuart, whenever I'm like, someone's like, so what like qualities do you bring to this job that we should hire you? I'm like, nugs, chillin', grindage.
Grindage.
Like,
Ah.
that's a fist. Yeah. You need support of all three nugs.
Three Dougs.
But no. So they're elected prom king and queen. And then Matt comes in and he's like, I have the proof. I have the proof. This man is not from Estonia.
Stop the presses. I object.
He's not Estonian. He's a caveman.
And the crowd goes
The
wild.
crowd literally loses their shit. They're like, yeah, damn right he is. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm serious.
He's totally barbaric, dude.
And everyone in the crowd's like, damn right he is. Yeah.
No one's understanding it.
Stoney and Dave come in, and Stoney like kind of just appears. But Dave
As
goes
he always does.
Dave goes up and tries to get the Polaroids back. And Matt punches him and throws him to the floor. And then Link takes Matt out using his kung fu skills.
Yeah.
From the fight montage earlier.
Right.
He takes Matt out and sends him flying into a cake where he lands. And then Pauly Shore comes over and pours punch on him.
Because you gotta.
And he's like, groove.
Leave him wet.
Yeah, you gotta leave him wet. Leave him wet more. And then
Leave him dripping.
leave him dripping.
There it is.
He's got the drip.
Stop. He's not gonna text you back, Jeb.
Just look at it. What if he does?
Oh my god.
So, everything's been resolved, basically, at this point. Because Robin, like, she confessed to Dave, she's like, that's so sweet that you came to help your friend and your family. I think I should be here. I should have been here with you. I shouldn't have gone for Link, as nice as he is. And so, for some reason, she goes with Dave, who's, like, a total shithead.
Yeah.
Sean Astin, like, what are you doing in this movie? Like, I love you, but...
It could have just been Pauly Shore
Yeah.
and Fraser.
Yeah. That would have been the two-hander I'd have seen.
Give them what the people want.
Give them more Shore. Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore.
Why am I chanting Pauly Shore with you?
I have a tremendous ability to get people to act against their own self-interest.
So you've said.
Yeah, including getting you to chant Pauly Shore.
And just consent to another podcast with you.
Yes. And so, like, 90s music starts playing, as it does frequently in this movie. And they go back to Dave and Stoney's house, and they have a party.
Yeah.
And Link is, like, catching it up on the dance floor. And then he's hanging out with Stoney, and then they smell smoke. And they're like, where did that come from? And so they scuttle up the house. It's a shot-for-shot remake of the scene in the movie where Dave and Stoney find Link.
Yeah. But who do they find in this
Instead,
one?
they open up the bedroom, and instead of Link in there, it's the cave woman who, his family.
Where'd she come from?
No idea.
How'd she get thought out?
I have not the foggiest idea.
Where was
There
she
was
dug up?
so a scene we missed is that when Sean Astin, Dave and Stoney leave to go get Matt, to go like catch up with Matt. There's an earthquake.
Yes. Oh.
That was supposed to be your telltale sign?
Yes, that's the telltale. That's the sign. Oh,
Is that another
something's happening.
caveman?
There's another earthquake. Another caveman has appeared.
So every time we feel an earthquake, folks, know
means
that a caveman has appeared.
It's like every time a bell rings, an angel gets. It's every time an earthquake.
A caveman gets thawed out.
Yeah, a caveman. Appears.
Turns out no caveman actually dies in the prehistoric era. They just get frozen.
They all come back. What if, like, just one day, like, you just got a buzz on your phone? You're like, the cavemen have risen. And, like, cavemen just start unthawing and taking over the country.
But they're caveman.
The president has to like declare national emergency. He's like, there's too many caveman folks.
Becomes a District 9 thing where we
Yeah.
have to like herd them all into a one
Caveman
single
just like
neighborhood.
throwing spears at Empire State Building.
Yeah. Dump
But
them
no.
on Madagascar or something
But
like that.
this cave woman is named Cave Nug because Pauly Shore keeps calling women nugs in this movie.
Why are women nugs?
I have no idea, and I don't want to dig into it. We're just not gonna talk about it. But Fraser's like family, and he has his family back, and everything's happy. They clean her up. She gets dressed in modern clothes, which is just like a bikini.
Basically.
She's literally just wearing like a bikini
Like jean shorts, short jean shorts, and a bra.
bikini. Yeah, that's it. And Fraser and her have a big hug. Link's happy. Dave is with Robin. Stoney is living his best life, apparently. They all hug, and there's a freeze frame on Link smiling, and the movie ends.
The movie ending with a freeze frame.
Yeah, back-to-back Fraser smiling freeze frames to end these movies.
What a good movie.
I kind of really vibed with it. I enjoyed it.
I recommend it.
Is it a great movie? No, but I did quite enjoy it.
Be in a certain state of
Here's
mind.
my recommendation. Here's my recommendation. Get some edibles.
Yeah. Watch this movie high. I totally agree. I would say be in a certain state of mind when you watch this movie. Watching it
I
stone
think-
cold sober in your mid-20s.
Instead, you can watch this movie stone cold sober after a 2-hour conversation about wedding plit.
Oh, yeah. Which is what you had
Is
to
that
do.
what happened to you?
That is what happened to me this morning, in which I was just ready for this escapism, and I really enjoyed it.
And for folks or
I
audience,
watched it last night and then rewatched it this morning while I was technically at work.
Yes.
Nice. Your boss doesn't listen to this podcast, so I think you're fine.
Does he not?
If he does, hi Adam.
Hi, Adam.
I'll be back to work in a little bit. I'm currently supposed to be at work right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for folks at home in our audience who are very invested in your host individual daily lives, Jeff's engaged.
yeah, I am.
Yeah,
This
Jeff is
true.
engaged.
Who you
So
getting?
cool.
Who you getting married to, Jeff?
Previous guest of the show, Rebecca Johnson.
Mark. Oh shit.
Mark Tilley and
Mark
me.
Tilley.
No, Mark Tilley's also getting married, but I don't know if he wants me to reveal that on the podcast, but I just did. Hi, Mark.
I am
Getting-
not getting married, folks. For anybody who was wondering that,
Yeah.
I'm not getting married.
Stuart, I'll get married to you if you want.
Oh, thanks, Matt. I appreciate that
Sweet.
a lot. All right. What does that sound?
What does that sound?
Getting like a lot of background noise all of a sudden.
It sounded like
From me?
Matt, are you at the ocean?
Yeah.
It sounded like there was just like waves.
All right. It just went away. So,
It's gone.
any post text?
So this movie does have an interesting bit of post-text. So it was made for a budget of $7 million. It
Wait,
goes
no,
on,
we're missing a scene. We're missing a scene.
are
that's
missing an
very
important scene.
Credits come up, and then immediately, like the first credits come up. It's like, or it's like the you know the like the end screen, and then you get a great shot of Pauly Shore with sunglasses saying, "I'll be back."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yes, that does actually happen in this movie.
because
It is-
that brings us back to a missed bit where like when Link was wandering through the house back when he was initially thawed out, he looked at the TV and what was playing on the screen? The Terminator during the titular scene, "I'll be back" scene. And Link says that again when they leave the 7-Eleven. He looks at the clerks and is like, "I'll be back." And to call back to then the final end credit scene with Pauly Shore looking at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, saying, "I'll be back." Ladies and gentlemen,
And it's very clearly that scene has inspired similar scenes from Marvel movies.
yes,
Where you get the black screen with white text saying, you know,
Doctor Strange
Thanos
will return.
will return. Obviously, those are a callback to this scene.
Pauly Shore will
Pauly
return.
Shore doing that, yes.
Yes.
It's all been set up.
Yeah.
It's all part of the Encino Man cinematic universe.
Just you wait until we get the Encino Man Captain America team up we've all been craving.
It's Encino, the first Avenger.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, really all it is.
But this movie, on a $7 million budget, is a big success.
financial success.
Yes, financial success. It makes $40 million, 40.7,
Damn.
which
Pretty
is
good for $7 million.
Yeah, I mean, if you do basic Hollywood logic, you need to like double your budget to make a profit, if not a little more. And so this movie made like 4 to 5 times its budget, which is good. This was in an era in the early 90s where like a movie like this, which basically starred no one of note save for Pauly Shore, who was just an MTV star.
Yeah. And
Could
Sean Astin, kind of.
Sean Astin, yeah. Could make a tidy little profit.
Yeah.
And so it made a tidy little profit, and it's what pushes Fraser into stardom. He doesn't become like a megastar off of this.
He doesn't get an Oscar
He
nomination.
doesn't get an Oscar nomination. He doesn't become like everyone's talking about Fraser after this. But people see this movie and they're like, that guy was funny. That guy was good. What else has he done? And they're like, well, this is basically his first movie, unless you count a television movie.
Yeah.
And a cameo in Dogfight. And a background extra role in Child of Darkness, Child of Light. But anyway. So it's like, this is the movie that begins the Fraser's Edge journey that we're really going on.
Yeah.
In that after this, Fraser starts getting asked to do more comedy roles. He starts getting big Hollywood productions after proving that he can anchor something that's financially successful with this,
Yeah.
which it is financially successful. Not so much in the realm of critical. It gets a 17% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like, I think not deserved. The consensus for it says Encino Man isn't the first unabashedly silly comedy to embrace its stupidity and amass a cult following, but whether or not it works for you will largely be determined by your tolerance for Pauly Shore. And
let me tell you,
I had a higher tolerance for Pauly Shore in this movie.
Really high Pauly Shore tolerance.
But you know what? Audiences loved Encino Man. Critics put out the hit. This movie got an A cinema score.
Wow.
Which, if the audience isn't aware, cinema score is like live polls from people coming out of movies. Basically, if a movie gets anything lower than a B+, it's disaster zone.
Yeah.
Because almost everyone walking out of theater gives the movie a good score. And so it like really takes a bad movie to get below a B+. But getting an A is like a very solid position for this movie to be in.
Yeah.
It's A+ is the ultimate one. Like only a few movies get that every year. Top Gun Maverick, I think, was the most recent one.
Yeah.
Because everyone loved Top Gun Maverick. America loves it. But this thing, it really succeeded with audiences, especially younger, millennial Gen X audiences.
Millennials are like being born.
Millennials are being born, so I'd say
Yeah.
Gen X audiences.
Yeah.
This kind of taps into the zeitgeist of the early 90s, which is kind of this off-kilter style of humor in some respect.
Right.
This kind of like, yeah, fuck the man. It's about a caveman and some stoners who run around.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of ideology. Pauly Shore does win a Razzie Award for this for Worst New Star. And I just gotta say disrespectful. It's just rude.
What's your game here, bud? D.
And so this movie, after kickstarting Fraser and Shore's careers and having the impact it does get a sequel.
Wait,
If
what?
you did not know.
Encino Woman.
There's Encino Woman, which was an ABC television movie in 1996. It is so non-existent. There's no poster for it available online. I found it on YouTube, and it looks terrible.
It's awful.
Look at
Don't
that.
watch it.
Did you watch it?
Holy shit.
Look at that.
I watched part of it.
Holy shit.
Like, this looks like it was shot in 1977, not
Yeah.
1995. It was shot after Encino Man. Somehow looks 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it was like an ABC television movie, so like you can't expect much.
Yeah.
But they did make a spin-off to this called Encino Woman that nobody liked. With good reason.
However,
there is conversation.
Wait,
That
what?
is- According to Pauly Shore, who we will say I'm not sure. Maybe I'll text him and ask him.
Pay another $3.
Yeah, send another $3 and be like, hey, you making Encino Man too? According to him, there's this lovely article about this movie you can find on Inverse called The Oral History of Encino Man. I'd highly recommend any of our audience read it. It's really fun, really interesting. I just don't really have this whole episode to go into this episode. So,
Yeah. That's will be a
But-
Patreon.
yeah. In this podcast, Pauly Shore claims that Disney Plus is considering doing a sequel, and that they would bring him, Fraser, and Sean Astin back.
not only that, in Variety, he says that his agent and him are talking about it, and that Brendan and Sean Astin were all keen to do it.
I get the tremendous feeling that this is like Pauly Shore trying to will this into existence.
Yeah.
Like, I think Disney might have just casually been like, "What properties do we own?" And they're like, this and this, Father of the Bride, we own Parent Trap, Encino Man, and Pauly Shore like 10 blocks away heard that and was like, "They're
Encino
making
Man.
a sequel!"
Encino Man.
And he's like, and he's
Man.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore wakes up from the grave, dust coming out of his breath.
And
The bones start. Oh my God.
he did make Pauly Shore is dead.
It's like blood. The earth quivers as the shores rise back up. His eyes open, glowing yellow and white. Pauly Shore has entered the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Doing the Transformers title sequence. Pauly Shore is back.
Pauly Shore returns in Encino Man 2.
Meanwhile, Brendan Fraser just gets a call. It's like, hey, you want to be in Encino Man 2? Is there anything else on the schedule? No. All right, yeah, sure.
But no, it's like I know this movie, in addition to like the $40 million that I said made in box office, it over time made over $100 million in revenues, like with toys and masks and DVDs.
Jesus Christ.
Because this was at the height where like VHS and DVD sales would make big money.
Yeah.
So maybe to over $100 million. So it really turned up profit for them.
Pauly
So
Shore back in his cave,
it-
forging the
Yeah.
armor that he's going to wear on Encino Man 2.
Like it really does make like
Brendan Fraser just lightly reading the script.
and they claim that like, you know, Pauly Shore claims that he runs into Dave Grohl a lot because he lives in Encino, and he'll be like, "Hey, you're the Encino Man." But the cinematographer for this movie, I want to talk about the lasting impact because we've talked about money and sequels and shit. The cinematographer of this movie, Robert Brinkman, said, you know, every film student is out there wanting to make The Godfather, and then you make Encino Man, and all of a sudden it's what people respond to. And you go, oh, that's not what I thought I was going to be doing, but I'm happy they like it. And that's
Good for you, Robert.
where he's like, yeah, I just really didn't intend for this to happen, but I'm glad that people like this movie because we had fun making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is, so there's a little bit of spoiler, but this is not the last time we're going to see Link.
It isn't?
This isn't the last time we're going to be seeing Link on this show.
I don't know.
It's not the last time you're going to see the character of Link played by Brendan Fraser.
This is
on
not the
show.
last time we're going to see the character of Link played by Brendan Fraser. Oh my god. He might be back.
Oh my God.
He might be back. But
You remember how Jeff said that there are like 4 Pauly Shore movies?
Oh, God.
Oh,
God.
I finally remembered. I found the quote I really wanted to bring up from Fraser talking about this movie. So the next movie we're covering next week is going to be School Ties.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it was filmed first before Encino Man.
Yeah.
And Fraser talked about, you know, after this came out and then School Ties, he was very adamant about School Ties. It was a movie he was very proud of working on. And during an interview for School Ties, he said he was happy to be seen in School Ties to prove that I can do more things than grunt, rub sticks together, and ogle Valley Girls.
Yeah.
And so I think that right there is hesitant why he was hesitant to do a sequel.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to be known for this.
Right.
Even though this is basically, you know, the template that's going to define some of his upcoming characters.
Yeah.
And he additionally also, like, this article, which is, you know, the oral history of Encino Man, points out what I brought up in both this episode and last week as what a Fraser character is. What makes him a movie star is that his characters are all the naive, good-hearted stranger, clueless and innocent, plopped into society. And that's most of his characters are a person who's removed from the society that they're in. But they're good-hearted, slightly naive, a little clueless, a little goofy, but they just really draw your attention with that natural good nature. And so this does provide the template for like Rick O'Connell, who fits into that zone very much.
Or George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle, same kind of person. Fraser just has this tremendous way of demonstrating like human kindness, of like radiating empathy, that comes out in this movie, especially. And I think that's why people really caught on to him and kind of propelled his career after this.
Wow. Very well spoken, Jeff.
Yeah. He has a deep sense of humanity to him. And that's basically the extent of the impact of this movie, because we'll talk about the impact of it next week and the week after that when we start seeing it live.
Yeah. Great.
Well, on that topic, Matt, do you have any final thoughts on this movie?
No final thoughts on this movie.
No final thoughts?
My thoughts are empty.
Thank you for coming on to talk about Encino Man.
Of course.
Stuart, any final thoughts?
Those are my final thoughts.
My final thoughts are family. Yeah.
Family, the Dominic Toretto way.
I never met my father. Family. My family will protect you. So yeah, thank you folks so much for listening. Please remember, we hope you enjoyed our episode on Encino Man. Make sure to tune in next week for our episode on School Ties. A movie that Brendan Fraser was very proud of and put a lot of work into, and then it flopped. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe on whatever platforms you're listening on. As a reminder, as always, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Come on to our Reddit, r/Travolting, Twitter or Instagram at TravoltingPod, TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at Jeff W. Sweeney. Matt, you have something to plug.
Yeah, if you're a fan of wrestling, go check out Learning the Ropes podcast, hosted by myself and my friend Andrew Kadrich, who are long-time wrestling fans, as we make our friend Tyler watch wrestling, just show the history of wrestling to him.
If you are not a fan of wrestling, still listen to the podcast, because it's about a person who does not care about wrestling learning about wrestling.
Yeah, you might find you like it.
Yeah, you might discover that you are a wrestling fan. And with that, I'll also say, as always, special thanks to Michael Van Bodegum Smith for the theme music that's now taking you out, and Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week for our School Ties.